All right, I'm in the fucking shadows out here. Sorry. What up, people? It's your boy Chig from Goon and Eagle Eye coming to you again with a brand new video. This time, hold on. I ain't gonna lie, the fucking shadows are pissing me off. This time, this time, this time, you're through to Eagle Eye, the transfer rumor show, where I talk to you about transfers, not just transfers really, but rumors generally surrounding Arsenal Football Club. And not just rumors, sometimes there could just be facts, things that have been reported generally. And I was all set to do the show anyway. Last night's show was such a success. And I could tell that by the thumbs up that you gave. So make sure you give some thumbs up again. Absolutely drive us through the roof. It lets me know you're enjoying what I'm doing. And the way I see it is if you guys keep doing this, this will just become a new evening fixture for me, where every evening I will do a transfer rumor show and it will always be live. So make sure you do hit that like button and drive that through the roof. But yeah, let's talk about the flipping elephant in the hall. Because I ain't gonna lie, I was all set to do this, like I said. I was ready to talk about some stories that had come up that I'd seen. I thought, okay, let me do my research on him and do my research on that. And then Sky Sports News kept breaking Arsenal news. First of all, they were talking about the Mkhitaryan thing. I'll come back to that. And then I'm not going to lie to you, it was a long day at work. Straight fell asleep in my sofa. Woke up and thought sort of the first thing on the Sky Sports News was the fact that Petr Cech has got the sporting director's role, or I don't even know. I'm gonna lie, I heard director's role at Chelsea and I got mad. I don't even know if it's sporting though. It's some kind of backroom role at Chelsea. And for some deranged reason, they decided to announce this now. Well, actually, if you think about it from Chelsea's point of view, I actually think it's a master stroke. Because you know that Petr Cech is going to play in the game next Wednesday. And I must admit, from me, and I know some of you guys will know that I was always an advocate defender of Cech playing in these Europa League finals. Because on form, yes, while I thought Leno was performing well, I never really saw what people were hating about Petr Cech. He'd always done fine in finals to me. But I always said to myself, it was known that Petr Cech was trying to angle for a Chelsea job. You know, his heart is there. And in a way, I don't mind too much that he was trying to angle for a Chelsea job. To be honest, I just wanted him to be professional, get his Arsenal responsibilities out of the way, and then he does whatever he does in the background. But Chelsea have appointed him in this particular role, and they've announced this now, 1 week before the final. And it raises the question, should Petr Cech play this final? Now, I felt on form, I would have been fine if he had played this final. He got us there. There were no errors. And believe me, I'm not an irrational person. I wasn't necessarily on the bandwagon of Leno must play all games. I did say in a couple of my previews that if it was me, I'd play Leno. But I don't have this amazing desire for Leno to play. I get it if Cech plays. He's not done anything wrong. Play him. But now we look at this situation, and I just sit there and I think, is anyone still arguing for Cech to play in this final? Because let's be real here. Now, stripping everything away, I'm reasonable. So just strip everything away, right? Let's say if something actually genuinely goes wrong in this game, and he has a clanger that then costs us, God forbid, but then costs us this game. right? Can you imagine? Because Arsenal fans are kind of crazy. Can you imagine what people will say and what people will do if Petr Cech was to drop a clanger? People have been calling him double agent Cech since the first time he played Chelsea for us. I can't begin to think what would happen. And I think it's a difficult decision. If it was me, I'd play Leno now. And I've been a big supporter of Cech playing in these Europa League games. But he is Chelsea's employer. All right, from the 1st of July or whenever it is, but he's Chelsea's employer now. You don't play Chelsea's employer for us. Come on. That is a blatant conflict of interest. In any professional establishment, if you had two competitors, even they would have an issue with that. So what? So you're going to represent them? You're going to represent us against your future employers? How does that make sense? And don't get me wrong, I am reasonable. Like I say, I'm not one of these people who will just say shit for saying shit or make banners for making banners because they want to be famous. I'm not that guy, right? For me, I'm one of these people who I like to think things logically through. And I think from a logical standpoint, he will probably be as professional as he possibly can be. But from my own point of view, I'd rather someone who's going to be our future, who's going to perform at the very top level for us without there being a conflict of interest. And that man is Bernd Leno to me. He's a better keeper than Petr Cech. He will do what is required. And I'm not saying that Petr Cech won't necessarily do what is required, but you just take that element of doubt. The last thing we need as fans is an extra element of doubt. Those boys need 100% positivity from us, not just from the people in the stadium, but from people tweeting, in the build-up. They need positive reinforcement because these guys are fragile. The last thing they need is now this Petr Cech cloud hanging over the entire fan base and people genuinely being worried. Because I'm not going to lie, I saw that and I was genuinely worried. I'm part of several groups. 3 of them have just been like, Petr Cech, what the fuck? So, to me, if I'm Emre, I take him out of the firing line and I start Bernd Leno. And I would not have necessarily said that prior to this final. I did pose that question. I remember having a debate with Giles, right? Me and him always go back and forth. Never like a hatred thing, but we always go back and forth on Twitter, right? And he made this insinuation that it was ridiculous that there was a conflict of interest there. And my argument was always that it's well known that Petr Cech was trying to get a job backstage at Chelsea. And that I'm sure that I innocently thought that there wouldn't be anything confirmed prior to the final, but there is that little bit of a nagging doubt prior to the game. Now he's been given a damn job. So to me, fair play to Chelsea, masterstroke. This story clearly broke from someone from their camp. It's a masterstroke. When you really think about the strategy, it's a masterstroke. You break that shit a week before the game. The fans, probably like me, admittedly, burst into a panic and it rocks the boat a bit. All I'm asking is this simple question. Is anyone still arguing that Petr Cech should be playing this final? Leave it in the comments below, please. I'm genuinely curious. Chat room, I'm about to visit you guys. Big up to you guys. I'm about to come and visit you in a minute. Right, so let's get through some stories. some more stories. Mkhitaryan. I'm going to just have a quick 2 cents on this. I think it's fine that he's decided not to travel. The way I see it is, if I felt that... let me give you guys an example, right? I ain't going to try and disclose too much stories about my friends, but they won't mind me telling the story, I'm sure. Back in the day, right? I once went to Loughton. Well, sorry, my friends once went to Loughton. It weren't a great experience for them. Some of them are black, and let's just say it was not a positive experience for them. Since then, I've had a couple of occasions where I have been invited to Loughton for one reason or another, and I've turned down each and every single one of them. In fact, this is also the same of Bermondsey. 2 areas. If you know about Bermondsey in southeast London, you know, innit? If you know, you know, right? These are 2 areas that you won't see Chig roll through anytime soon. Now, apologies if you are from these areas. I'm just saying, innit? I've had bad experiences through one person or another, and these are 2 areas I tend to avoid at all costs. Right? Who's going to tell me anything? Oh, well, Chig, you should go through those areas because you're a professional and you should, if a job calls for you to go out there, you should go out there. No. You ain't been through what I've been through. So you can't tell me none. And I refuse to go to those areas. I don't care what the reason is. I refuse to go through those areas. So the way I see it is, people shitting on Mkhitaryan because he doesn't... I know his is different. His is a political thing. But the way I see it is, it's the same principle. If you're worried about your safety, you're worried about your family's sake. I ain't taking no risks on my family. If I was him, I would take the same shit. I think I'm taking my kids out there or taking my wife out there. If I'm Mkhitaryan, I don't blame him. I don't blame him 1 single second. So for me, I'm perfectly fine with the fact that he doesn't want to come. From a form point of view, let's be real, he ain't going to add much anyway. But from a simple human point of view, I get it. I get it. I completely get it. It's a shame for him. It's a shame that he wouldn't at least... I mean, even Ramsey's going out there, you know, just to be able to cheer the boys on. In case we actually do win the cup, then he can at least go down. He was part of the journey and celebrate with the boys. But I don't blame him. Quite honestly, if I feel that I'm in danger, I wouldn't go either. So fair play to him. I ain't gonna shit on him for that. Right, let's talk about some actual transfer stories, shall we? In the last few hours, several papers have broke this story. That Arsenal are eyeing up a move for Espanyol's 23-year-old Mario Harmonso. Apparently, PSG and Bayern Munich are also interested in a defender. Let's be real, we are being linked with every single defender under the sun. At the moment, Real Madrid are valuing him around about the £18 million mark. So yeah, let's see. Let's see. It's clear we're looking for defenders. Like I say, over the last couple of days, I shit you not, we've been linked with 10 defenders over the last couple of days. Some by very unreliable sources, which is why I haven't necessarily reported it on here. Courtoffside.com, if you know, you know. But that genuinely we've been linked with at least 10 different defenders. Most of them are playing in La Liga. I wonder why. So do take these things with a pinch of salt. With Arsenal, it tends to be a thing where if we bid for the player, then you know we're serious. Speaking of potentially bidding for a player with a clause in, it is said to be the fact that Arsenal are in talks with Mino Raiola. Now, if you know about Mino, he is a how can I describe him? He's a super agent for major talent. I think he's Pogba's agent. He's a well-paid agent, like super agent, right? And he's the agent for a certain defender, Kostas Manolos, who you've not seen me mention too tough. I'm going to explain why in a second. The 27-year-old Roma defender who has a 36 million euro release clause in his contract, which works out to be 31.1 million pounds. It's been reported, that was reported early hours today, late yesterday, and supposedly we're in talks with him. I've been asked about this guy several times by several different people. I must admit, I've never been overly impressed with him. He's had this clause in his contract for some time, and no one's really come in for him. We've known about it. Every transfer window, seemingly for a couple of weeks, we get linked with him. There's a brief conversation, seemingly, and then nothing ever comes off it. And that was even back in the Arsene Wenger days. What can I say about him, man? The way I see it is this: we need defenders, and although I'm not overly convinced by him, he's damn sure better than everything we currently have. But then so are most defenders. I will say this, people, get some perspective, because I know that, and I didn't report it deliberately because I want to see if there's any traction. I know that we're being linked with the Saint Etienne defender, that 18-year-old that everybody's jizzing over, the 6'4" guy. I have seen him play once, maybe twice, when we were watching. Funny enough, when I was watching Petr, and yeah, he's decent, but let's calm down. He's 18. I mean, he is the definition of an unknown talent. Yes, just because they put the next Varane doesn't necessarily mean he will be the next Varane. So it's about perspective. But I'm happy with the fact that at least we're being linked with defenders, because more than any other area, that's the area we need to focus on. We shipped way too many goals this season. And if we could focus on improving that area, I'll be very, very happy. And I tend to subscribe to be fair, Lee's theory on Koscielny, for example. I actually think, particularly if Arsenal win the Europa, I could see him retiring on that. I really can. I could see him retiring on that. So for me, or at least leaving the club on that high. So for me, I think getting at least 2 defenders is absolutely paramount. So I can see why we're being linked with defenders, but I think people need to calm down, do their research, don't get jizz happy over 18-year-olds. Let's just be easy. Let's calm down. Let's see what exactly they produce. Okay, so let's talk about more rumours now that I've successfully killed the buzz of that 18-year-old. Arsenal are also looking at goalkeepers, as I thought they might, to be honest. Arsenal are considering a move for German goalkeeper Marcus Sherbet, who plays for Dynamo Dresden. I've actually heard of that team. Can't believe it. He's actually going to be available on a free transfer. He's 20, so I think he's 23 years old. Supposed to be pretty talented. Bit worried that he has a bit of an attitude issue. I will say that, but yeah, for me, I think this is the type of guy that I'd like to see Arsenal go for. You know me, I don't particularly have a lot of faith in Martinez. I know he's supposed to have played well in Reading, but I think if you can get this guy in, I mean, it's thought to be, sorry, no, let me correct myself. He's 20 years old. 20 years old, just to clarify. I know that we have another goalkeeper who's actually leaving, and it's thought that what is his name? Ilanev. I can't ever pronounce his name. But I think his name is Dijon Aganev or Ianev. People in the chat. I can't read when it comes to names, people. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't read when it comes to names. but yeah, he's looking to leave Arsenal. Apparently, there's a lot of rumours that he'll be leaving this summer. And I think the thought process is that he will be the replacement. It's a free transfer. Sounds like it makes sense to me, particularly if there is actually talent there. Then why not? Why not? I'm not really sure what's happened to Macy. He signed a new contract last season, and then we ain't really heard from him since. But yeah, just to let you guys know that that's sort of floating about and happening. And in terms of stories, I think that's pretty much it. There isn't a lot else going on. It's just the same old stories about Cech, and obviously there was a story that I mentioned yesterday about the fact that the hierarchy had spoken about Özil, or had hinted around Özil and Aubameyang's contract, that as soon as you get to 2 years of your contract, either you sign a new contract or we sell you. I think that was pretty much the message that went out there. I suspect that was more for Özil than Aubameyang. I suspect that was their way of saying, well, Mesut, you're in the last 2 years of your contract, and we have this rule. If you ain't going to extend, obviously there's no offer to extend, and we're going to sell you. So I suspect that was the message. Like, don't just think you're going to sit there and collect £350,000 a week. We're going to sell your punk ass. So that was, to me, the rebuttal to Mesut's earlier quote from last week. So that's just my theory. Think what you guys may have your own thought process over that. Is there anything else story-wise? Yeah, there's also talk that Arsenal are ready to move for Zaha as well. There's a belief, apparently, in the Arsenal back room that they may be able to get the deal done for 40 million. I doubt it. That Crystal Palace are under zero pressure to sell. Yes, all right, he's asked to leave, so he's under a contract. So that, to me, that just sounds like a BS story. Also, apparently Arsenal are considering a move for Keylor Navas, the Real Madrid goalkeeper. I'm sure Navas is looking for a move. For me, I hope not. I don't want Ospina 2.0, which is what it reminds me of. I don't know why. It just reminds me of that. I'd rather a decent goalkeeper. Not saying Navas ain't a good goalkeeper. It just feels like a bit of an Ospina-esque feel about him. And so I'd rather we didn't go in that direction. But yeah. All right. So that's me kind of rabbiting on. Let me see what you guys in the chat room are saying. All right. So that's me kind of. Let me shut myself up. Dijon Ilev. Thank you, Colin. That's the one I'm talking about. Dennis Bergkamp is looking for a job. Yeah. Nah, Bansar, man. With you. Completely with you. I don't see the point in signing Zaha either, to be fair. Make sure you do drive up the likes in the chat room, please, people. That'd be really helpful. Seems like everyone more or less agrees with my point around the Cech situation, which I like to see. What's good? What's good, man, Aaron? It's been a while. I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. All right, people. Well, I just wanted to see what you guys were saying about it. I think, for me, just to go back to my original story, I don't want Petr Cech playing in the final. And I was a big defender of the idea of Petr Cech playing in the final. But no, not for me. Please do let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments below. If you like this video, please do crush that like button. I appreciate it when you guys do that. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, I guess. So stay tuned. Take care. Deuces. Peace. I'm out. Bye.